Renault's much improved third generation Scenic offers a versatile 5-seat solution to families looking for flexible, everyday transport. A range of more efficient engines means it stacks up better than ever on the balance sheet. Add to that the fact that it's nicely built, affordable to buy and run, safe and decently equipped, and in theory at least, you're left with plenty of good reasons to stick it high on your shopping list.
Renault likes to think that it created MPV people carriers when it launched the Espace over 25 years ago. But actually, the Americans were doing the people carrying thing long before. It is true, however, to credit the French brand with originating the category we recognise with this type of car, the compact mini MPV. The Scenic that it launched back in the 90s has been through 3 very different incarnations, this being the most recent, launched in 2009. And more than ever in third generation form, it's facing tough competition. A bigger issue though for Renault to deal with has been the way that the MPV market itself has fragmented over the last few years. From being a one-size-fits-all solution for modern families, the compact mini MPV, models like this one, well, it's seen its market position eroded from all sides. Renault itself offers this kind of car with 7 seats in Grand Scenic form, and the French brand will also sell you a standard Megane family hatchback that has many of this Scenic's MPV style tweaks, all of which begs the question of just why you might buy this car. At least your dealer is in a better position to answer that particular question, since this Mark III Scenic model was significantly improved early in 2012. With the facelift came the usual slightly smarter look and extra helping of high-tech equipment, but more significant, we're told, are the changes that have taken place under the bonnet. Enough to make this model the most efficient 5-seater people carrier of its kind. Enough for it to merit a bit of extra attention? Let's give it just that. Now, I'm a bit fed up with reading motoring writers who'd obviously normally never be seen dead in an MPV, moaning about people carriers' perceived lack of driving experience sparkle. Let's face it, if you're hurling one of these around the lanes, then you either need a ready supply of sick bags in the back, or you've very obviously bought the wrong kind of car. So Renault's decision to prioritise comfort in scenic motoring has always been the right one. It's a pleasant surprise then to find that this third generation model can also work with you when you're running late for the school play, or you're behind schedule on a twisting back road with dinner burning in the oven, even if it's not the sharpest drive in its class. Now, much of this is down to a clever front suspension setup. I won't trouble you with the technicalities, but the end result is a car that rolls far less than you'd expect from a people carrier and turns into corners with reassuring sharpness so that you can capitalise on the surprising grip. It's much like any normal family hatchback, in fact. Most importantly, all of this has been achieved without affecting the absorbent ride, while noise is well suppressed thanks to copious soundproofing. So far so good. What about under the bonnet? Well, Renault has made the mistake in previous years of building in higher performance scenic derivatives to the range that buyers avoided like the plague. So it's hardly surprising these days to find that the engine lineup is dictated more by sense than speed. Still, the units on offer are a willing bunch, with the petrol emphasis being on a 115 PS 1.2 litre TCE power plant capable of rest to 60 in 11.7 seconds on the way to a top speed of 112 miles an hour. Most, however, will probably want a diesel, the best all-round choice being a 110 PS 1.5 litre DCI capable of rest to 60 in 12.3 seconds on the way to a top speed of 112 miles an hour. Those in search of more performance have a 130 PS 1.6 litre DCI diesel at their disposal, capable of rest to 60 in 10.3 seconds on the way to a top speed of 121 miles an hour. The kind of performance, in other words, you'd expect from a 2 litre diesel, without, of course, the associated running costs. Now, you probably won't be buying this car because of how it looks, but its shape remains sharp and clean, with a more contemporary front end these days, thanks to extra gloss black and chrome detailing and standard LED daytime running lights. There are restyled tail lamps too. Now, as before, this 5-seat Scenic model is only 216mm shorter than the 7-seater Grand Scenic, which bodes well for the room on offer inside. And so it proves in the spacious, airy cabin with its large, wide windscreen. At the wheel, the commanding driving position is complemented by a sweeping, soft-touch dashboard with an integrated TFT digital display that shows just how far Renault has come in recent times in its pursuit of perceived quality. As with previous Scenics, you've got 3 individual rear seats here, and all 3 can be slid backwards and forwards so that you could prioritise either legroom or rear seat luggage space. As for luggage space, let's go and have a look. Back here, there's 437 litres of total space, and of course you can increase that if you either fold or tumble these rear seats forward and release a total of 1,837 litres, with all of the seats tumbled as far forward as they will go. And to put that figure into perspective, that's about 226 litres less than you get in a top Renault Grand Scenic 7-seat model. So it's not that much less, and it's 100 litres more than you get in a comparable Citroën C4 Picasso. Now, you can take the seats out completely to free up yet more space. But even if you've got somewhere to put the things, the procedure is so complicated that you'll be finding excuses not to do it. Rivals with seats that fold flat into the floor do it better. But then the 1,837 litres of total luggage capacity with the seats folded is probably about as much as most families will ever need. And this Scenic builds on that with over 92 litres of oddment storage space dotted around the cabin, which includes things like underfloor storage compartments. You've also got pull-out drawers beneath both of the front seats, and a huge chilled glove box, as well as various little cubbies dotted around the centre console and the dash, and large door storage bins. There are also nice family touches, fold-out trays to keep the children quiet on long journeys, sunblinds to keep them from getting too hot. And I also like the way that this centre console unit can slide backwards and forwards, so you can push it right out of the way, as you would want to do if you were to push the middle seat right forward for, say, a child on a booster seat that you wanted to keep a closer eye on. Talking of parental supervision, you can also specify this useful extra fold-out mirror so you can more easily keep an eye on what the little horrors are doing in the back. And dotted around the cabin, there are 3 12-volt power sockets so that MP3 consoles and games players can be easily kept topped up. Overall then, there's probably enough extra flexibility here that if you don't need 7 seats, really justifies this Scenic's premium over a conventional 5-door Megane-shaped family hatch. List prices range between around £19,500 to £21,500, so this is no longer the really affordable family car it once was. Now, those figures see you paying about £1,400 less than you would for the 7-seater Grand Scenic model, which shares the same engine range and much the same kind of look and feel. As for 5-seat compact MPV rivals, well, there aren't too many of those these days, in a sector better stuffed with 7-seat compact people carriers. You could save £2,000 to £3,000 over this Scenic and get yourself, say, a Vauxhall Meriva, but it isn't quite as big. Or perhaps a 5-seat Kia Carens, but it would feel a bit cheap. Closer to this Renault would be the kind of Citroën C4 Picasso that would save you about £1,000 in model for model comparisons, but can't match this Scenic's running costs. Perhaps the most direct rival is Ford's very similarly priced C-Max, but it too lags notably behind the running cost figures achieved by this Scenic if you're looking at, say, an entry-level petrol or a top diesel model. So let's assume that you've looked at the opposition in the 5-seat compact MPV sector, done your homework, got the right deal, and decided that a Scenic is indeed what you want. What can you expect for your money, whether you opt for a 1.2 litre TCE petrol version or one of the diesels, a 110 PS 1.5 DCI or the 130 PS 1.6 DCI? Well, whichever Scenic you go for, you'll find that it's very well equipped with features that would cost you extra on opposition models. By that I mean things like alloy wheels, auto headlamps and wipers, rear parking sensors, LED daytime running lights, cruise control, Bluetooth compatibility for your mobile phone, satellite navigation and hill start assist to stop you drifting backwards on uphill junctions. A tempting option is what Renault calls its Visio system, which includes a lane departure warning setup that'll stop dozy drivers from veering out of their lanes on the highway. It also includes headlamps that dip themselves at night in the face of oncoming traffic. I'd also be tempted by the upgraded Bose 9-speaker audio system with its digital amplifier. And both the Bose audio setup and the Visio package are included in an affordably priced Luxe package, which also throws in a dual zone climate control setup, a sliding center console and electrically folding mirrors. Safety wise, there's ESC stability control and ABS with brake assist and brake force distribution to help you try and avoid an accident, but if you just can't, there are all the usual airbags, including front and rear curtain ones. Now, if you're looking for the most affordable 5-seat compact MPV in its class when it comes to running costs, then this is it. Here I'm driving the most powerful variant, the 130 PS 1.6 litre DCI diesel, a car that manages 64.2 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle and puts out just 114 grams per kilometre of CO2. That's better than all of its direct rivals. I need to put those figures into some kind of perspective. Here you've got a car that puts out between 20 and 25 grams per kilometre of CO2 less than comparably performing competitors like Ford's C-Max 2-litre TDCi or Citroën C4 Picasso 2-litre HDI, and a car that at the same time goes between 10 and 15 miles further on every gallon of fuel. But this top diesel Scenic isn't a cheap choice, which is why most buyers wanting this car with diesel power opt for it fitted with a 110 PS 1.5 litre DCI engine. That manages 68.9 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle and puts out just 105 grams per kilometre of CO2. Again, that's miles ahead of direct rivals. Also worth a mention for being efficient is the petrol variant, the 115 PS 1.2 TCE. That manages 48.7 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle and puts out 135 grams per kilometre of CO2. But its asking price is really too close to that of the 1.5 litre DCI diesel to mean too many UK sales. What else? Well, insurance groupings range between 15 and 21. That's on the 1 to 50 grouping scale. Servicing is affordable and residual values are no worse than those of any other mainstream maker. Oh, and most buyers will want to consider the Renault 4 Plus program. That's for retail customers, which gives you a comprehensive 4-year 100,000 mile warranty. You also get 4 years of routine servicing, that's 4 years or 48,000 miles, 4 years of roadside assistance, and 4 years of lease or PCP finance, subject to status. Renault Scenic is here to remind us that there's still a place for the traditional 5-seat compact mini MPV in a modern market stuffed with other higher profile alternatives. It's practical, well built, spacious and decently equipped, as every modern car of this kind must be. But in this case, each of these criteria has been ticked off with a thoroughness that reminds you just who invented this market sector in the first place. The improvements made to this revised version will go unnoticed by many, and that's a pity, as the petrol 1.2 and diesel DCI units are now class-leadingly efficient. This car is also now exceptionally well specified. But is it all enough to keep the market's original 5-seat mini MPV as the best choice for frugal families? Perhaps. Many might be surprised, after all, at just how thoroughly this French contender can still meet their needs. One thing's for certain, as a more versatile spin on spacious 5-seat family motoring, this Scenic has a lot of life left in it yet.